I was 5 years old when The Little Mermaid came out, and I was convinced it was a work of genius. My mother did not agree. To be fair, she had a point. In the film, the mermaid disobeys her father to chase some guy and put her entire species at risk. And to my mom, she was the ungrateful, spoiled product of the very worst in American culture. Mom wanted me to be like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. When does your life get to be your own and not your parents' or your community's? As the daughter of Iranian immigrants, I was raised to believe the answer is never. In fact, I think you should disappoint your parents. I think that maybe disappointing your parents could be the best thing that ever happened to you. Their marriage wasn't arranged, it was introduced, and they were married 3 months after meeting. When I was 19, I found myself seated at a table with my parents and their friends when one of them said, "Honestly, I would rather my children to have cancer than to be gay." I told my parents I was in love with a woman 6 years after that conversation. I did it with my eyes closed, like I was jumping off a skyscraper. Iranians communicate their meaning in the spaces between their words. There's even a word for it, tarof, the art of disingenuous generosity. I can tell this room knows a thing or two about it. To this day, when you go to pay for a cab in Iran, they'll say, no, 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 no. And then it's your job to convince them to charge you. The loss is baked into you. You grow up intrinsically homesick for a place that you've never known and that no longer exists the way your family remembers it. And you dance so hard, you left with pit stains. Being Iranian in the diaspora means gossip as your love language. There was no precedent to being gay and Iranian. So claiming it for myself felt ridiculous, like I was coming out as a leprechaun. In fact, the president of Iran at that time, Ahmadinejad, had publicly announced, in my country, we don't have homosexuals. He just failed to mention that that might have something to do with the fact that homosexuality is punishable by death. Do you know what is scary after destroying the hopes and dreams of the people that you love the most, the people that created you? I was always so afraid I was embarrassing myself. There was no way to out-shame myself. It was a sketch comedy show that featured a fake advert for a product called Vomlet, the omelet made of vomit. I'd been desperate to find my voice ever since, but I was always writing at arm's length from myself. I let go of my idea of good and trying to fit into it, other people's notion of good, and I ended up finding my own. After that, I wrote, directed, and starred in my first film, which explored themes of being a self-indulgent, closeted Iranian millennial cliche. Eventually, my parents realized that being gay wasn't a death sentence, and we found each other, but on new terms. They are the heart of me. They built me, but they don't get to determine the rules of my life. The paddling is what it is to be alive. I once overheard my father tell someone, I knew I had two choices: get over it or lose my daughter. Live life according to my own standards and risk losing my family, or live according to their rules and never get the opportunity to meet myself.